Juliet Oduor. So I grew up in Kitale, normal schooling, high school still in Kitale. For university, I was studying business administration. Then after the first academic year, I switched to biomedical lab technology, which is interesting because now I'm back in business. So maybe I should have just stuck in business management. So grew up in Kitale. One of the things I loved most is we lived next to a forest. So we'd go exploring, then adventuring. It never really had occurred to me, but my grandfather used to grow coffee, sugarcane, cotton. He was really into farming. And so he used to process the sugarcane. He'd make jaggery out of it. So I was like, oh, I see now where the processing comes from, something I'd never really seen. So how I got into baking was my son had allergies. So he couldn't eat cake, bread, anything that had wheat, and including some protein. So it was a really hectic time. And then as he was growing, when you go to parties, of course, he wants to eat the cake. So I started doing research on gluten-free stuff, because at that time there was only one health shop that was stocking gluten-free products that were mostly imported, and they were expensive. Then you buy the unga, you come and try something at home, it backfires. So just doing my own research, I guess, with my background from biomedical technology. So I realized like we actually have these gluten-free flours here at home. So the cassava, millet, sorghum. So I started experimenting with those. The easiest to start with was pancakes. Then I started also cakes. So whenever we'd go, so for a long time we could not eat out. So whenever we get invited, I had to bake a cake so that it just doesn't feel out of place. I guess it's just that, it's your child, your first child, and you want to make life easier for them. So when you'd go for the parties, people would be curious about this wheat-free cake. And then people would be like, I also have, I get bloated when I eat wheat. So from that, I would get orders for the cakes. Then I started getting orders for the unga. So that's what really got me into the baking. So at that time, I used to buy the unga and then do the blends. But I noticed the quality would vary, the color, the taste. And I noticed like gluten-free is very sensitive. So I knew quality was an issue. And if I wanted to sell this unga, I would have to start doing my own milling. So I had no idea about the whole process. Then I met a friend who does, he processes fruit. So he told me about Kirti in Nairobi. This area, this is like my home area. We have a lot of cassava, and I found cassava to be very versatile as a gluten-free flour because there are so many elements. The flours are different. The millet behaves differently from sorghum, from cassava. So I found cassava to be very versatile. So I used to get cassava from here in Siaya, put it in a bus, go process in Kirdi. And it was hectic because, again, Kirdi is a shared facility and there's only one dryer and there are people drying all manner of things. So at times I had to process once every 3 months, and that wasn't viable for our business. Kirdi, they have an electric dryer. So once you get the tuber, you peel, you wash, you chip, you dry. And drying is critical because if you don't dry it properly, there's the risk of aflatoxin. So, and the mold, so it's a very critical part of the process. And an alternative was to buy the dried chips because there are farmers who dry the chips themselves. But for me, quality was really, really important. And so with the farmers, the quality wasn't good and it kept varying. So I was still going back to my problem of quality. So I knew I needed a dryer for me to move the business forward. In 2019, a friend shared with me a crowdfunding opportunity. And then I managed to raise money which got me the first dryer, because my main challenge was the dryer. So with the money from the crowdfunding, I leased this space, and then I set up the dryer, and now that's how I started doing production. So that was in Feb of 2020. Then in March, COVID happened. We've been able to build a structure where we can peel from. Beginning of this year, we had a challenge with getting raw materials, but now there's plenty of raw materials. So with the dryer improved, it has also increased our capacity.
My name is Sylvia Mwaura, a lead at Ongoza. I run a program called Imarisha. Ongoza is an entrepreneurial support organization, and we work with both early stage and high growth businesses, and just to support them with practical business skills, business advisory, and investor readiness. One of the special projects we ran in Imarisha was the Accelerating Women in Climate project. And this project was launched by Aga Khan Foundation, WUSC, and Andy, and funded by Global Affairs Canada. And the backdrop of this project was just the challenges or the barriers that women in climate are facing. And then climate finance is also something new. You find that when it comes to access to finance, climate is something that's very new. Very few people are being able to commercialize it. So you find these women are having challenges. Not to say that they've not succeeded or they've not made strides in their businesses, but you just find there's a few challenges, and that's what the partners saw, and they wanted to intervene.
There's nothing wrong with growing maize, but maize doesn't do well in this area. So being in a space where I'm having to also educate the farmers, because the unfortunate truth about agriculture in Kenya is that very few people do it commercially. And so, like in an area like this, they used to grow cotton, which they don't do anymore. Sugarcane, not as much. My grandfather used to grow coffee. I haven't seen any.
I think Juliet stood out from the onset because she is addressing climate adaptation through crop adaptation. And she's taken this staple crop that is very common, especially in the western part of Kenya. Juliet does value addition with the cassava, and she's working with the farmers in Siaya to just give value addition to the crop itself. And through the process, there's job creation, and then just encouraging farmers to continue growing the crop, because you find most farmers will always move to the cash crop. They want the crop that gives them the money. And cassava wasn't very popular. So we found that Juliet was actually reviving a staple crop that is mostly used as a food crop, and now she was commercializing it for the farmers around the area.
We had some farmers here, and one of them was telling us that the child actually keeps telling her to keep growing cassava because that's what has kept the child in school. Because now, when they don't have, when maybe the kid has been sent off for school fees, they'll call and ask if they can deliver cassava. So they've actually seen the value of the crop. When we started, it was just me and Eric. Yeah, so when I wanted also to employ people from this area, so Eric was referred to me by someone, so I trained him from what I'd learned in KD, got some information on how to do it. So we were basically the ones handling everything, just the two of us. Then for now we've grown. We have someone to assist with the peeling. We have 2 people who do delivery. At times we get an extra person to also do the peeling. We have someone who does the packaging. We have a merchandiser. So we've grown from a team of 2 to around 7.
So far we have grown up in Blossom in so many ways, more so in my community. Nowadays they take me as the manager of the Blossom.
Again, you find that businesses that are addressing climate, it's very hard to work in a silo. You always need partners, and partners is like the smallholder farmers that Juliet is working with. It's the people packing, it's the team that's packaging her product, it's the merchandisers who are promoting, it's the production team that's actually doing product development. So we took them through a process of also, how do you create those partnerships? How do you actually mobilize the farmers around you? How do you mobilize a community to be able to buy into your vision, and so that they're able to support you, deliver what you want to do? And by extension, there's improved in livelihoods of just the people around you, the community.
One of the things that I got from the business clinic that was quite profound for me was your financial model reflects your organizational culture. And at first it was like, how do those two marry? But how your business is doing actually is a reflection of the culture and how the people are. So it's not just about, yes, I need money from the investors, but you have to demonstrate. And so if your culture is about integrity, it will demonstrate even in your records. So everything marries into each other. And also, I finally got to understand financial modeling. I think I used to hear that and I just like the brain shuts down, like I have no idea. But understanding that it's the numbers that you have. So really getting to see the importance of having the records, because everything that you say about the business comes from your records, not just your guessing numbers.
So for Juliet, there was financial management. So we needed to look at her finances. And what was interesting was, and this is not unique to Juliet, I think there's that conversation we had of how much do you think you need for your business to scale? But when we went through the financial management and just planning and forecasting, we actually realized she didn't need as much as she thought she needed, because the business was actually making money, but because the finances and the record keeping was not as it should be, you're not able to see and follow the money. She has a financial model, but then also she was not using the financial model to make the business decisions. And that means having a financial model that actually tells you where your money should be going and giving you strategic decisions that you need to make for your business. And we were able to do a valuation through one of our partners. And then we did a go-to-market strategy. Just how do you penetrate? How do you penetrate the market?
SDGs became a buzzword, but now, like in reality, like wanting to measure those aspects, like when we say economic empowerment, can like really measuring the impact. How much have we given back to the farmers? How much have the farmers earned from working from us? Like just taking note of those critical data points, so that it's not just a big thing we are advocating for SDG number 8, but really going and breaking it down. So in everything that we are doing, we reflect that we are actually championing for that particular SDG.
And out of the process, I think one of the things I can say that really stood out about Juliet is her commitment and her zeal. And through the process, we also came to interact with the team that Juliet has put together, from the farmers, the manager, the ladies who do the peeling of the cassavas, and just to see the ecosystem that she's created.
I've been well trained by Ongoza, but as I grow my team, it would also be nice if we can have them come here and train my people on the ground. And definitely that is a huge budget, especially in terms of mobilizing the farmers. We started working on an app, because now we have to do manually onboarding the farmer. So we want to see how we can use technology. By the time you're working with even 1,000, even 500 farmers, doing it manually can be a headache. Our products are Blossom products, and we have cassava flour, the plain one, and we have different mixes for pancake, for coconut, bread, chapati, and the baking flour that can be used for making mandazi, donuts, and cookies. So for now, you can find us online on Greenspoon. There are online partners. We also stock at Quickmart, Current Provision Store, Kalimoni Greens, Safeway Supermarket. And now, because we started in Nairobi, our market has mainly been in Nairobi, but now we are looking at expanding in the Western region, in Kisumu, Kakamega, Busia. So for starters, you can just start with the blossom cassava flour. And I will say this, it might sound biased, but the first time I went to Kirdi and I milled cassava flour, I asked myself what I have been buying in the name of cassava flour. There are many things you're buying out there that are labeled as cassava flour, but they are not pure cassava flour. If you try our cassava flour, you will never buy another one.